Hey everyone, today we will talk about beach. And yeah, in the previous video, we talked about the mountain, right? And just more like sharing about my experience about hiking mountain in general, and how I like mountain and the reasons behind it, and just why and how there's like lots of challenge in doing that outdoor activity, right? um it's more like survival in the nature basically, but yeah. And today we'll talk about beach, and the reason why is because uh you know usually people compare things that are activities that what which activity that you want to choose basically. And when it comes to nature, usually the options come into two, which is either going to the mountain or going to the beach, right? And yeah, so that's why I'm going to make video about beach today. And yeah, well, yeah, let's get started, I suppose. And first, maybe we can start with my experience first about beach, and just in general, I suppose, because here my country is my country consists of lots of island basically. I think it's called archipelago or something like that. uh, which has lots of clusters of island basically, uh, in Southeast Asia basically. And yeah, there's a lot of island, right? And some of them are big. Oh, I accidentally scroll. Let's go up. But yeah, because of that, therefore there are lots of beaches that available, right? And like for instance this one, because the more island, it means the more perimeters, right? And therefore the more pitch that we have basically. That's what I'm trying to say. And yeah, even though I haven't been to like most of them, I only went to few, like I don't know, it's maybe below 20 beaches that I have been into. And yeah, um lots of them basically, since I was kid basically, like when I was still in kindergarten, I suppose. I think we already we have been traveling to the beach, and yeah, etc, etc. It's more like sandy beach actually, and then coral beach basically, I think that's what it's called. This one has sands, right? Sand, or I would say. But and the other beach has like just flat surface that has lots of corals, I suppose. Not really corals, but more like, I don't know, like lots of weed or seaweed, or stuff like that in the floor or on the under the water. And the beach actually is covered with water. And yeah, there's like a lot of um like most of this is covered with water, but only for like if this is your legs, it's only like just like this height. So it's considerably safe, and the surface goes for a while until it eventually drop down, right? Just like any other beach which leads into the sea basically. And then for this one, the sandy beach one, only at the tip there's like the start of the water, and then there's wave. And sometimes the water get pushed, and just rising up, and then it flows back to the ocean and stuff like that. And then again, eventually in the end, it will becomes like deep if you go uh, far away from beach. And yeah, so yeah, that's like the experience when I was kid. And then it's just like it's like in Hawaii basically. You will see you will see lots of beaches, and you will get used to basically because there's lots of them, and it becomes a thing that is not really special anymore because it's very common. Eventually you'll see that as very common. And yeah, of course I grew up then. It's still the same basically. So I suppose we can start classifying beaches, I suppose, because in the beach there's like a lot of types of beach, right? Like as I gave examples earlier, the sandy beach, where the water there's like wave, right? It starts over here, and then there's wave going up or rising the water into like this, and then going down again. And yeah, and then the next was the coral reef, coral beach. I don't know, more like seaweed actually. Okay, I will start calling it seaweed beach, I suppose. I don't know what it's called. It's basically there's lots of hole or lots of corals basically, or seaweeds that I mean corals that lots of seaweeds growing on them. And yeah, and then the whole thing has water, or not green, the cyan one, and like low. And then there is no wave actually in this area, like there is at towards the end of the beach, but this side is not really affected. Of course there's like a small wave that can rise the surface of the water, but not really. It's quite stable, I would say. And yeah, um for this one we can play lots of sand, right? Like playing volleyball and stuff like that, or just catching ball basically, and throw and catch and just like that. Maybe towards this at this part of the beach which is not too far away from the beach line, and but still get the water from the wave basically. And yeah, lots of sand, can play castle and stuff like that. And in this one, the good thing about this is that we can see lots of fish actually, and lots of other sea creature basically, like for instance shells, um what is it called, shellfish, right? Shellfish, or I don't know. Yeah, basically that has uh you know that looks like uh you know like this basically. There's lots of them. And then like sea urchins also, um lots of them again. But yeah, like there is just a lot of it's basically an ecosystem, right? Because of the coral basically. And then there's also like vegetations like water plants and stuff like that. And then the next type, yeah, there's a lot of them actually. Oh, this one is quite my favorite, which is cliff beach. So you know this is like the place where we can hang out or stuff like that. And then there's like cliff basically, and then just like that, it's like um I would say it's quite deep actually, maybe like 25 meters down. And then just water, then uh right, just wave, big waves crashing to the rocks. at the side of the cliff and stuff like that. This is quite dangerous, I would say, because of the drop. But this is actually one of my favorite beach because um, there's just lots of very great views over here because we are essentially at the top of the cliff, right? And we can actually look around at a lot of view. Basically, there's we can even if we are here, the this cliff like surrounding the place, right? Like surrounding the area, so we also get to see the side of the cliff, and that's just very beautiful. um I would recommend, if you know the the island Bali, in Southeast Asia. That's like one of the best place where you can find this type of beach basically. And yeah, not much to do though. It's more like you know scene scenery view, um panoramic view. Basically you can basically you just take photos here, or since this is already 2022, just fly your drones basically, like just uh fly your drone basically, carrying the phone, or your camera, and get the aerial view of the whole cliff side. And yeah, and then the other one would be, I think there's another one. Okay, so this one is artificial, I would say. Artificial beach. It's more like you know beach, but it's used for boats basically. um so this is like the pier or the harbor, and you can of course walk your car over here. You can park the car directly next to the sea. It's basically like this is the sea, right? And then this is like the boat and stuff like that. And then the thing is that this is also a sudden drop, so at this side this is already very deep, so you don't want to go too close to the edge, or you can fall basically. And then once you fall, you're it will be very difficult to rescue because uh, it's actually very deep, right? Unless you can swim, it will be very difficult. Even though the wave is not as as violent as in the previous one, at the cliff side, it's still wavy actually. It's still wavy, but not really wavy. Not really violent, or big waves and stuff like that. And even the water is rarely coming out to the side, so this is like dry basically. And this is actually like my least favorite beach because there's not much you can do over here basically. There is no fish, or maybe there is but you cannot see because the water is very dark because of it's already deep. The water is very deep, so you cannot see anything basically down there. And then because it's not cliffside, so you cannot see the whole area basically. And then you cannot play the water with water basically, like obviously, because it's quite dangerous to stand at the edge and play with the water, and I don't know what you're going to play anyway, right? Or maybe put your feet in, I don't know. And then but yeah, that's very dangerous actually. And then yeah, there's nothing basically. What When I went here, it's more like seeing the crowd, so that there's lots of people there, and then lots of food stall and stuff like that at the side of the pier or the harbor basically, but nothing else. And then also like the boat, um like they're rarely parked there. Usually, uh you know of course they spend most of the time at the sea. They just came back when they needed to deliver or get supplies, right? And then going back again to the sea or the ocean basically. But yeah, this is like maybe it's man-made. I think this is man-made, like because just like any other pier or harbor, um, for the boat basically mainly, right? And yeah, I think that's all the types of the beach. And my favorite one is the cliffside for for the view. But the thing is that you cannot stay there like for a long time, right? You cannot set a camp over there, and you know also that's like you cannot basically stay overnight there, right? And probably you see you stand there for about 1 hour, 2 hours and stuff like that, and then you travel to the other side of the cliff, and then spend another 1 hour, and then you go home basically, because there's nothing else to do, right? And but the sandy beach, actually you can do that. There's lots of sandy beach here, and uh, you know I've spent lots of time actually setting up my camp at the beach basically, with my friends and whatnot, just making campfire, and just cooking food, roasting stuff, and yeah, and then just watch as the water tide starts rising, especially during the night. The tide rises, right? And then yeah, just uh, you know, hearing all the voices of the waves, and then basically just sleep on the sand. That's like one of the things that I like to do also. My friend likes to sleep inside the tent, but you know, I can't stand in being in the tent actually, because it's actually very warm there. It's very hot, and then there is just lots of people, right? It becomes crampy, I would say. Of course, we can have lots of tents, right? But setting up tent is actually quite taking some time. So usually we just set a limited amount of tent, like one for like 5 or 6 people, right? But that will get very crampy, and uh, therefore I become just I will be fine. I will just sleep outside because it's the sand anyway. The sand, it will shape your body, so it will always be comfortable. And yeah, then I just grab a blanket basically to cover my body and my leg, and then just watch stargazing basically. And that's like another thing that I like to do, watching lots of stars, because at the start, like at 9 to 10 p.m., you're still actively watching, doing activities, right? There's probably still the fire cam, the lights from the fire cam, that you cannot see the stars just yet because there's too many light, right? But then after you wake up at around 2 a.m., after you sleep especially, when you see up, see the sky, it will be very clear, the stars, and then you can see lots of stuff like what is that called, like constellation, I think that's what it's called, like a cluster of stars that can actually shape into constellation basically. And yeah, and you can actually see that actually, trust me, some stars actually very bright, therefore you can kind of connect the dots and make the image. And yeah, just search in the internet, like the possibility of the constellation, and then you'll find yourself there basically. And yeah, this is like another favorite type of the cliff, not the cliff, the beach, besides the cliffside beach. And yeah, let me know about what you think, your experience about beaches, and if you have any recommendation, if there's like very beautiful beaches that you can recommend to me or to anybody else. And but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow with another topic to discuss. And goodbye.